Hello, today we are going to look at distance and length, so things that we could measure with our rulers or measuring tapes or meter sticks and so on. When we use measurements, we tend to use the metric system, which is what most countries around the world use. America and England still use a lot of the imperial system, and I'm going to mention some of them that you might come across in daily life, but for most of maths purposes, you're going to deal with the metric system. If they require you to do anything with the imperial system, the English and American system, they will tell you exactly what you have to do because you're not required to know that much about the imperial system. Now, the key unit in the metric system, the one that we use, is the meter. Everything is measured relative to a meter. And the easiest way to keep track of a meter is if we deal with meter sticks when we're doing, sometimes when we're doing technical drawing or when we would be doing particularly work in the labs in science class, we might be dealing with meter sticks, which are rulers that are 1 meter long. And if we look at that meter stick, we would see that there were 100 centimeters marked out on our meter stick. And if we go down here to a little section of a ruler that I have given you here, we can see that we have our centimeters going across like this. Depending on your screen size, these will not be particularly to scale. And in between each of the centimeters, there are 10 smaller dashes. So we start at 0 and we go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 up to 1 centimeter. Well, the little dashes here are millimeters. So there will be 10 millimeters in a centimeter, just like if we look at our meter stick or picture our meter stick in our heads, we have 100 centimeters in a meter. So the key anchor we have for a lot of measurement work is if we can keep the meter stick picture in our heads, we'll be able to see, well, there are 100 centimeters marked out on my 1 meter stick, and there are going to be 10 millimeters for every centimeter that I measure. And if I can keep that in my head and that a kilometer is 1,000 meters, that will get me out for almost all questions. Now, just to briefly mention the imperial system, you should know this as a kind of a general life thing. If they give it in an exam, as I say, they'll give you lots of detail on it. An inch would be marked as 1 with 2 commas after it. It is, there are different ways of defining it, but one of them is that it's the maximum width, the widest point of an adult's thumb. So your thumbs would usually be a little bit smaller now, but when you're an adult, the widest part of your thumb will be roughly an inch. And 1 foot is fairly self-explanatory. It's about the size of an adult's foot, and it's often written as 1 with a single comma after it. And a foot is also the same size as a lot of your rulers. The rulers we often have for school are 30 centimeter rulers, and 30 centimeters is pretty close to 1 foot. It's not exactly the same, but it's pretty close. So that's your imperial measurements. Again, more for daily life than what we're going to likely be asked in an exam. It's important to know these things. Now, I'm going to give you a few examples of how it is we convert between these. And the way we're going to always do these questions and the way to link back into work that we're going to do both in ratio and proportion. So ratios and proportions we're going to use a similar method for, and also when we're doing financial maths later on, we're going to use a similar method to what I'm about to show you now. It's called the unitary method. The unitary method, a unit means one of something, and the unitary method means we're going to start out by finding what one of something is and then multiplying up to however many of the thing we want. So we have 10 meters in centimeters. We have our measurement in meters. We want to know what it is in centimeters. So if I know that 1 meter is equal to, if you like, the proportion of 1 meter is 100 centimeters, and that's a fact I need to have in my head. It's from our meter stick. We have 100 centimeters marked out on our meter stick that we use in the science labs. Well, if 1 meter is 100 centimeters, then 10 meters would be 10 times that much. So I'm going to make both sides 10 times bigger. If I have 10 meters, I'm going to have 10 times as many centimeters. So 10 meters, 1 by 10 is 10, and 10 by 100, we are going to get 1,000. So there's going to be 1,000 centimeters in 10 meters. Again, one of something and then go up to the amount that we want. Now, here we have, there is 260 centimeters in meters. So how do I go from centimeters to meters? I was going from meters to centimeters. How am I going to go from centimeters to meters? Well, I know that 100 centimeters is to 1 meter. I need to know what 1 centimeter is in meters. So how do I go from 100 to 1? I'm going to divide both sides of my relationship by 100. So I know that 1 centimeter is a 1/100th of a meter. That's another way of saying that there are 100 centimeters in a meter. Now, I don't want to know what 1 centimeter is. I want to know what 260 centimeters is. So I'm going to multiply by 260 to get what 260 centimeters is. If I make one part of this relationship 260 times bigger, I make the other part 260 times bigger. 260 centimeters is going to be 260 all over 100 meters, which is equal to, when we put this in our calculator or do it out by division, we will get that it is 2.6 meters. So that's how we can do that. Let's go on to our next one. We have 900 meters in kilometers. So I have a relationship between kilometers and meters. I know there are 1,000 meters in a kilometer. I am required to know that fact. That's a kind of a daily life type thing. A kilometer is what we would measure the distance to the shops. If we were at our house and we wanted to go to the shops, usually they'll be kilometers away. We wouldn't bother measuring it in meters because the numbers would get too big and be awkward. So if I have 900 meters in kilometers, I need to know what 1 meter is in kilometers. Well, how am I going to get 1 meter if I know 1,000? Well, I'm going to get 1,000 of that. So there's going to be 1 meter is going to be 1,000th of my kilometer. And then if I want to get 900 meters, I multiply by 900. And I get 900 meters is to 900 over 1,000 kilometers. And I put that in my calculator or work it out. That's 0.9 kilometers. Next, 12 millimeters in centimeters. So 12 millimeters in centimeters. I know that in 1 centimeter there are 10 millimeters. Again, this is a fact I need to know, and I have it in my head because I have my ruler to hand at all times, and there are 10 millimeter dashes in between each centimeter. So I need to find out what 1 millimeter is in centimeters. So I need to find out what one of it is. I divide by 10. So a millimeter is 1/10 of a centimeter. I need to find out what 12 millimeters is, so I need to multiply by 12. So I have 12 all over 10 centimeters, and I put that into my calculator or work it out. I get 1.2 centimeters is to 12 millimeters. 3 kilometers in meters. Well, I know in 1 kilometer there is 1,000 meters. So how many are there going to be in 3 kilometers? I don't have to do any rearranging now because I already know one of the thing I'm interested in is to 1,000 kilometers. So I've already got my unitary method sorted. So now I just need to find out what 3 times that amount of kilometers is. So 3 kilometers, sorry, 3 by 1,000 is 3,000 meters. And finally, if we get a combination of things, if we have 2 meters and 60 centimeters in meters, what's that going to be? Well, the 2 meters part is already fine, so I just need to get this 60 centimeters in meters. So this is 2 meters plus, so we've gone 2 meters and then 60 centimeters, so we're adding on this 60 centimeters, and it's going to be, we need to get this in terms of meters first. So we're going to do our conversion, as we've been doing so far. There are 100 centimeters in 1 meter. So I need to divide by 100 to find out what 1 centimeter is. It's 100th of a meter. Then I need to find out what 60 is. 60 centimeters is 60 over 100, which I can work out is 0.6 meters. So I have 2 plus 0.6 meters is 2.6 meters. And that is my work completed. And that is how we do our conversions between units. And this is really important for exam type questions, being able to do these conversions, and also that's useful because we're going to use this type of method, the unitary method of finding one of something and then how many of it we want, quite a lot in different parts of our course. So it's a really key skill that's going to help us in lots of different areas. And that's what we need for distance and length.